The Houston Texans did some really smart things, and Nick Caserio completely changed draft strategy. And I understand, to a fan, it might not seem super exciting, but I'm going to tell you why in this video. But before I do that, my name's Craig. Me and my buddy Chris, we are Lions fans. We are. But we started covering the Texans on this channel. We have another one, Sports Talk Detroit. We started covering the Texans as one of the first teams we started doing. And at first it didn't get a lot of views, but we knew there might be something special with CJ Stroud and this team and what they were putting together. There was a lot of things that reminded us of what the Detroit Lions were doing. And, well, the last 2 years have been proof in the pudding for that. Nick Caserio is a good GM, and he knows what he's doing. He's not batting 1,000 here, but he's doing a good job. And when asked about this draft class, more importantly, his pick, or his first-round pick that you traded away, this is what he said. He said, that was the best thing for us. Puts us in a pretty good spot. 2 2s, 3 3s, picked up another 3 next year. I think we're going to get some pretty good football players tomorrow. We felt like the value of the draft was basically in the middle, so try to take advantage of our opportunities here tomorrow. In other words, the value of the draft is in the second, third, and maybe fourth round. But second and third round, we're going to go into the middle of the draft, and we're going to see what we can do in the middle of that draft. And boy, oh boy, did they do a good job. So let's talk about these 3 picks. I want to specifically talk about 2 second-rounders and 1 third-rounder. And the first one I'm not going to spend a ton of time on because we already did a video on it. But it didn't get a lot of views. So you know what? We're still going to talk about it. We're going to talk about Jayden Higgins. Jayden Higgins is a baller. He is a really, really good player at wide receiver. He's 6'4", 214 pounds out of Iowa State. This is a guy who, when you look at him, and my computer's messed up, so forgive me when I'm not showing you all these things. He has a RAS score, a RAS score of 9.87. That means he is the 46th most athletic wide receiver to ever test in the combine out of 3,400 wide receivers. He has 4.47 speed, more than adequate. But what's even more impressive with that is when you look at this guy's player traits, his number 1 score and number 2 score and number 3 score are competitive toughness. That's what you want. That's a DeMeco Ryans guy. His hands, that's what you want in a wide receiver, and his route running. When you can get a guy who is 6'4", 220 pounds, and his best trait is route running and release and footwork and his hands and his competitive toughness, you have a great player on your hands. Imagine how good and how competitive this team is going to be with Nico Collins on one side and Jayden Higgins on the other. This is really, really impressive, and I can't wait to see what it looks like. But then they realized we still need to address the offensive line. There was a complete offensive line overhaul this season. Think about it. From left to right, it will likely look something along these lines. Robinson, Howard, Patterson, Scruggs, Fisher. There are some changes in that from the beginning of last year. The question is Fisher ready, or do you need to have another player come in and be a tackle? And enter Ariante Ursery out of Minnesota. When you watch him on tape, he just looks like a massive mauler. But this guy's 6'6", 331 pounds, but he tested as the 16th most athletic tackle to ever test. So that's not 1, but 2 elite athletes that were drafted to your team. The good news is that they're not just athletes. This guy had elite speed for a lineman. He had elite explosion for a lineman, and he did all this at 330 pounds. Are you kidding me right now? When you look at him across the board, according to PFF, according to different draft things, the only thing he has some weakness in is flexibility and balance. He gets a little too much on his toes. That's what they say. This guy otherwise is great. Power at point of attack, anchor ability, hand technique, athleticism, length, footwork, and foot speed, all good. He has all the measurables. He has all the traits. So there you go. There's another guy. 2 for 2. Those are your 2 second-round picks. You traded up to get him, by the way, and that could be an absolute offensive tackle of the future. Absolute offensive tackle of the future. And then in the 3rd round, you go out and you get Jaylen Noel. And Jaylen Noel got a 9.72 RAS. He was this teammate of Higgins at Iowa State, but he is a guy that most likely will end in the slot most of the time. So I want you to think about your starting lineup. I just want you to think about this. Nico Collins, Higgins on the outside, Christian Kirk in the slot. And then if Christian Kirk can't stay healthy, because he's been a phenomenal wide receiver over the last couple of years, he just hasn't stayed healthy. So if Christian Kirk can't stay healthy, boom, enter Jaylen Noel. There's your depth. Not to mention the fact that I don't think he'll be back this year. He won't. He won't. All right? But Tank Dell is waiting in the wings, and if he can be healthy and he can get healthy, now all of a sudden you have what is arguably the best 1 through 5 in the league. Look, there was a reality that you had Nico Collins, you brought in Christian Kirk, all right, but you're losing Tank Dell, you're losing Stephon Diggs, so who's next? You solved that problem in this draft, and you said to C.J. Stroud, we are going to get you playmakers. We have got Nico Collins that can beat you over the top and intermediate. We have Higgins, who is an elite route runner, who is going to win on hitches, slants, on posts, and all of those things. And then you have a guy in Kirk and Noel, these 2 guys that are going to just make a mess out of nickel corners. And it is really, really impressive. And they're saying, we're going to get you levels at all 3. And by the way, we're going to get you a tackle in the 2nd round as well. We're going to get you a tackle in the 2nd round as well. I don't think there was a tackle that necessarily was better than Ursary on the board. The only one I can think of is Connerly Jr. out of Oregon, but it's a question of, is he a tackle or is he a guard? They both had questions. So if you can trade back, get Higgins, and then trade back up at a lesser price to go move up and get Ursary, and then you follow it up with Noel, all of a sudden you're like, this is a phenomenal draft. This is a phenomenal draft. Then you get Jalen Smith, corner out of USC. He's a hard player, all right? I mean, like, he's a good player. You go get Woody Marks. Then you get Jalen Reed in the 6th round. This has success written all over it. The Texans just hedged their bet. They have said, we're going all in on C.J. Stroud. We're going all in on the receiver core, and I can't wait to see what it looks like. It's just a fun team to watch, and I can't wait to see with the new OC. I can't wait to see with these new weapons. And by the way, very happy because I got C.J. Stroud on my fantasy team. Let's go. All right. Almost all of them, actually. I might have them in every single league. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.